Soundbox presents Lego Transformers.
Taste my blades, Autobot. Oof, whoa. Is that all you got? You're going down, Decepticon. Oof, whoa. Is that all you got? Whoa! I'm out of here.
Hello, Lego Transformers fans. This is Soundbox with another exciting episode of Lego Transformers. Here we have Rise of the Beasts Bumblebee. I wanted to make a movie Bumblebee, but his movie transformation is very difficult, and experimenting with many different tries, I think this one looks most like the one from Rise of the Beasts, which I'll now call ROTB for short. Here he has his yellow rear spoiler, his two black stripes going all the way up through his body. It was difficult to capture the black stripe as well on his body, because with Lego and you got like a 2-piece and a 4-piece, too many pieces wide, he would be huge. And I wanted to keep him kind of small. He is larger than most of my builds. He is about the size of Nightbird, which was important because for some reason, in my mind, the movie figures are a little bigger than the older figures. Here we have some headlights up front. We have his windshield, his windows and doors, and he actually has rolling wheels. I actually have him on rolling wheels. Here's from the back. You have rear taillights, and you have these cool exhausts. I gave him some souped up exhausts. They also work as his hand blasters in robot mode. And here's him from the other angle. Now, let's compare him to Generation 1 Bumblebee. You can see here, Generation 1 Bumblebee is more compact, smaller, whereas Rise of the Beasts movie Bumblebee is much bigger. Plus, it's also to capture his complex transformation. We'll now compare him to my Optimus Prime. First from behind, and now from the front. So you could see Optimus Prime is bigger than him. However, with these off-road tires that I have on him, he does seem like a bigger build. If I make a Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime, he might be a little bit more upscaled from this one. And finally, let's present a minifigure. So he is actually very close to being car size for a Lego minifigure. I mean, yes, there are some proportion issues here and there, door-wise and stuff. But he's almost minifigure size, which is pretty cool. Maybe if he was scaled up just a little bigger, since he is supposed to be a 2-seater car. But if I scale up my Transformers too much, we won't have any Legos to build Transformers with. Now it's time to transform Bumblebee. Let's take a look here. This front splits, which is very cool. The way this works is first you take his door and you pull the door out. It's on this little hinge, and this also turns on stud friction. That'll eventually become his arm. Next, we need to fold the roof flap up, and this way we can turn the assembly down. Now there's a bit of parts forming here. I do take off these wheels, these front wheels, because unfortunately they get in the way of his transformation. So there is a tiny bit of parts forming it. And I know I'm very against parts forming. So we turn it all the way down. Then we rotate the hand down. Or the arm, I should say. And then we rotate the hand. And you can kind of see from his underbelly, you kind of see his face. You see how his head fits inside there, and how half the car front came down. The other thing we can do to give him that movie look is we angle this top piece a little bit and flip this little window upward. Okay, let's do the same with the other side. We'll fold down that other roof piece that we just did, and we'll fold up this side, fold out the hand so it doesn't get caught in anything, and we'll rotate this down here. And I'm going to take the wheel off again, and I'm going to show you. The rotation is because of these great little frying pan pieces in here. I also like the black colors of these, because the black and yellow go well to make Bumblebee. I have a 1 square stud with 2 holes in it, and studs on the side, and that will allow these pins to go into it that are on the frying pans. That gives us totally the rotation to go up and down. In the front here, I also use the frying pans again, and this gives a little leeway so we can actually bend his chest outward if we wanted to, or inward a little. And that can give you more of an angular look. So it can actually be altered a little bit to look more angular, like in the show. Oop, his arm fell off. Once again, refer to my stud friction problem when you learn about falling off pieces. Okay, so let's rotate his other arm down on his stud friction, and we'll rotate the hand outward. Come on, hand. Now, one of the other reasons these movie bots are a little bigger is because I did want to capture some better articulation with them as well. For some reason, I feel the movie bots should be more articulated than the regular ones. I don't know why. Maybe because movies are more grandiose. Okay, so now we have Bumblebee's chest. You can see his face right there, and we can see his shoulders and his arms, and the doors. And here's his chest. And the chest can be slightly adjusted if you want it a little bit lower. And the little frying pan pieces allow you to adjust the angularing of it if you want it a little more angular. Okay, now for the legs. The legs, we'll take them up, turn them up like this at a 90-degree angle, rotate them around, and fold them down. This is done by this little hand pin piece inside of another side stud piece with a hole in it. And it allows full rotation. These little hinges that the hand stud holds allow them to move quite freely. Now that his feet are down, we're going to actually take these little spouts that were his extra engine detailing in car mode. We're going to take those off, those exhaust spouts. And I'll show you why in a minute. Now we'll open his other roof flap. And remember these wheels that we took off? We can just sort of attach them onto his roof flaps. And then technically they're not parts formed. They're right there on him. I mean, they were parts formed because they were taken off and put them back on. But he's got a spot for them, so it's not like you're missing any pieces. And so here we have Bumblebee in robot mode. And he's very much based on the Rise of the Beasts pretty much, I think, after his resurrection kind of mode. And that can be more classically shown by his little squares on his arms. I take one of these squares off, and I can place those exhausts on there. And that gives him his blasters on the ends of his arms that he had when he was falling out of the sky fighting Nightbird in the movie. I do recommend you see Rise of the Beasts. It was a pretty darn good movie. It's out on Paramount Plus right now. And so here's he is in robot mode, and let's take a look at him. For his face, we got a nice smooth piece on top, and I used circular pieces to give him that circular face look. Because with the movie bots, they have a lot of circles, lines, curves, and sharp angles. Since he's more of that 90s Camaro, I gave him the more angular chest. I'm trying to do a curved one for the other movie verse, but that one's getting very difficult to make. This whole apparatus here that folds down on these hinges and stuff, this is very difficult to do and to get to work over and over again. Over here you can see his arms. Now he does have the stud friction, so he has articulation up and down. And I put another joint in here, mainly for the transformation, but you can kind of flail his arms out, flail them in, and his hands have rotation and stud friction as well. So you can kind of aim his blaster out, kind of pose him at an angle so it looks like he's shooting to the side. So there are degrees of articulation with him. And of course, since we're on camera, the stud friction does not want to work. This one's a lot more secure. His legs, he can actually move his legs. Because of this joint, he can actually move his legs forward and back. Though standing him up like that is another story. I also like the color breakdown. For the bottom side here, I use a little dark grays in there. He's got black, he's got yellow, he's got dark grays. So he has a very good Bumblebee movie style color breakout. His back is a little janky. He's got his pieces showing here that made his roof and stuff. But it does look kind of cool. But ultimately, from the front here, he looks super awesome. He looks like movie Bumblebee. Here's a side profile. The one problem with this transformation is from the side, it's very hard to see his face. So you got to always kind of get him at like an angled look if you want to kind of get a side view shot of him. And of course from the back, we didn't really care about the back because who's going to be staring at the back of the Transformers? We want to see them in action, right? Okay, let's get a size comparison. Bring on a little Lego minifigure. Now you can see, normally my minifigures are equal to or slightly smaller than the robot modes, but in this case, he's only knee high. The minifigure, the scale is much bigger than the usual scale, so that's why he looks so small. We actually have a tall Bumblebee. Now we'll bring in G1 Bumblebee in robot mode. And you can see G1 is only half his size too. He's very small in comparison. But like I said before, the larger scale is basically to capture the articulation, a little more articulation in the movie figures, a little more movie-esque transformation, because they are more complicated. And then we'll bring in Optimus Prime. He's always our big towering bot who's taller than just about everybody, except for he's about equal size to Megatron. And here Optimus Prime standing next to Bumblebee. So the two are pretty much, you know, good size relationship. Even though this Optimus Prime is my standard one, he does look about the right size compared to the movie version of Bumblebee. I mean, this Prime could be a little bit bigger, which we might do for the Rise of the Beasts Prime. But, because I do want to do that sculpt. I like the idea of the stripe on him. But this is a good size relationship. You can see here how big they are in comparison to my other Lego Transformers. Now, if you thought that was all, that's not all. Because Bumblebee is pretty cool movie-wise, I decided to do a few add-ons for him. The first add-on I made was this blaster cannon. And I liked the way that this ratcheting piece looks for the cannon. So I decided to use it as a cannon. So how would I attach this? First, I take off both of the exhaust ports on his arms. Then we take off the orange stud on that arm. It's not really orange, it's like a yellowish cheese color. Whoa. I have this one sideways piece with two studs going up holding this one brick in. But there is a little cracking in there, so it is getting loose and his torso likes to come off. I haven't found a really good secure way to make that more snug yet. And then we plug the arm cannon on the arm. Now, because in Rise of the Beasts, their hands transform to the arm cannon, so you can just rotate his hand back. And now you have him with an arm cannon. So you can go fight Nightbird and Scourge and all the bad guys. Bumblebee is here to save the day. Now that you've seen Bumblebee with his arm cannon, another attachment I did is I made his movie stylized head. So how we do this is we remove his head. I take the gray stud off his head, set his head to the side, his visor on top of his head, and I plug in this roller skate piece with another one of those round studs, and now he has this more skeletal looking movie face. So you could use one as the movie face with his visor up, and one with his visor down. And so that is Rise of the Beasts Bumblebee. If you liked this episode, give it a like. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. And if you want more exciting episodes of Lego Transformers, be sure to subscribe. Yeah. Sideswipe.